Beatdown Football Post-Match Show presented by AT&T. Kate Abdo, Stu Holden, Steve Nash and Mo Adu here with you in studio. What a fantastic day of Champions League quarter-final second leg action. Let's get you to the highlight from... there's a look for you at possession, pretty split, but in terms of shot, well, actually it's pretty split as well in terms of, it didn't feel that way though, did it?
Not at all. Not at all. I think some of those shots don't show up, or some of the play doesn't show up on this stat sheet, because as you saw in the highlights, Ajax were in that final third constantly, whether it was creating 3v2s or just, but a lot of those chances just ended up being chances, you know, dangerous chances, but not reflective on the score on the stat sheet.
I agree. I mean, I think if you look at the chances created, you know, you're going to see a more lopsided stat. At least the quality of the chances created. Ajax were outstanding. I mean, what a story this is.
I think what not surprised me, but impressed me once again by Ajax is how they can control the game through the way that they play, the way that they press, the way that they're committed to attacking, to putting numbers forward. And we said, okay, what changes would Juventus make from the first leg to the second? They brought in Emre Can. They tried to be a little bit more dynamic in midfield. But I think what we learned is you see an older team, a team that, yes, is structured and compact, but playing against a team that was so fluid, that's so dynamic, that created overloads, that pressed, that created chances, and deserved to win that game. I look forward to watching this Ajax team play, because they are a joy. They enjoy the game, and they're deservedly in the semi-final.
How will Juventus now look back at this result? But this campaign as a whole, of course, they brought in Cristiano Ronaldo, paid an exorbitant amount for him, simply for the reason of trying to win the Champions League. It's what their season has been about entirely. Now what?
Now you go home and you win, you know, Serie A, and you try it again next year, because at the, like you just said, their focus, their objective this year was to win Champions League. Winning Serie A, they knew that was going to happen. It was just a matter of when. And so to go out now, and I think to go out in a tie that they probably felt that they could have won, or they should have won, it's going to be disappointing.
But is that the best Juventus team we've seen, though? I mean, I know they added Ronaldo. It still feels to me it's missing a dynamic playmaker. Dybala wasn't the answer today. He never really seems to get to the level that you need to win a Champions League. And it did feel almost, again, like you're waiting for Cristiano Ronaldo to come and save the day. And
do you feel like he did his part?
He scored another goal. He scored their last 5 goals. He scored their last 5 goals, but Chiellini doesn't make the difference today.
You don't know that, because Chiellini he's a confident figure. I think he brings out the best in Bonucci. I think if you have a presence like that, commanding players, not just by his play alone, but he's a leader. He's a leader in that back line. When I look at this team today, who's leading that back line?
There was no one there, though, Mo, even if you have Chiellini, that to me, that controls that game, that makes a difference for Juventus going the other way. 11 shots. How many of those were good, clear-cut opportunities? It's a goal from a set piece, from a corner kick. The game they had against Ajax in the first leg, 1 shot on goal, that was the goal. So still, to me, it doesn't make a big difference if you have Chiellini, the way that Juventus were pressed and just completely dominated over 2 legs by Ajax.
Could or should Max Allegri have done something different tactically to combat the way that Ajax were playing?
If there's one thing, I think we talked about how they played against Atletico Madrid in the last leg, where they played the 3 in the back. It enables their wingers to push higher up the game, and maybe would have kept Ajax back, because Ajax's front 4 presses so well. And when you can't play through that, that's when you're under pressure. And I think either having Emre Can a little bit more flexibility to get a little bit deeper, but still just not good enough over the 2 legs from Juventus. They looked older against the Ajax team.
They did. And I know you just said hindsight is 20/20 basically, but I feel like Moise Kean should have played from the beginning. He's a man in form. Dybala hasn't been at his best this year. There's no mistaking about that. And coming off the last game, again, he had a chance to perform and showcase himself, and he didn't really reach the heights that we know he can hit. Play a man that's in form. Give him a chance. He's a young kid, but he's produced so far. I think he would have provided a different threat and asked some more questions of that back line than Dybala did in the first half.
So interesting to see where Juventus go from here. You know, they obviously Serie A's wrapped up, but that's not what this is about.
I was going to ask you, actually, do you think that because they've won the league so comfortably, the same with PSG, that it hurts them in the Champions League?
Potentially. To be honest, I don't think so in this case. You know, I think that they've put all their eggs in the Ronaldo and the Champions League basket here. They've tried to do everything they can to win it now. Now, where are they at, though, when you talk about an aging back line? Ronaldo, how many years does he have left? Do they make big changes, or do they stay with what they have and say, we can play better, we will be better next year? It's an interesting time for them because they have some of these young players, Cancelo, an excellent young player, but not necessarily getting on the score sheet or getting on the team sheet every week. So some of these young guys are trying to make their way to become first-teamers. Some of these older guys are on their last legs. Then you have Ronaldo, so you've put everything on the here and now. I'm fascinated to see how they move this summer and see what they want to change.